Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Father.
How are you all doing? This is question and answer weekend. So we're only going to be in 15 minutes though. So excuse me, who's going to be my timer? Who's going to tell me when 15 minutes is up? Someone over here? Terry? Okay. You tell me when 15 minutes is up. I am not know-it-all. I don't know all the answers. Especially when you talk about things like God, spiritual life, life after death, and all these heaven, all these mysterious things. I haven't been there yet, and I don't know all the answers, But I will do the best I can to share whatever my thoughts and feelings are on any question that you ask. I'd like to start off by suggesting this. We're getting close to elections, aren't we? Won't you be glad when it's all over?
Yes.
I think we all agree on that. Well, there's a couple of interesting things coming up in our parish. Read the bulletin today, where we can get some insight. Some years ago, the bishops wrote a pastoral letter to our country. It was called Faithful Citizenship. And in there it talked about how do you approach elections and things like that if we're going to be faithful citizens. So if you can get to one of those sessions that's going to be held in our parish, please do so. I think you'll find it very interesting and very helpful. One principle, though, I think from that document that I always remember, makes good sense to me, because it seems to be just common sense, is this: vote for the person who reflects most of your values. Now, we're never going to find a candidate who reflects all of our values, right? When you vote for the one who reflects more of your values than the other, whatever that may be, that's sort of what the bishops are saying. And it's entirely up to you. Fun, isn't it? Okay, what's on your mind? What would you like to talk about?
I have a question.
Yes.
If Pope Francis were to call you tomorrow and ask
That would be the day, yeah.
were he to ask you for your advice and guidance as to what he should do next or what he could do better, what would you tell him?
Oh boy. I'm not going to advise the Pope. Are you listening, Pope Francis? I would tell him to continue doing what he's doing by bringing the church to more mercy and compassion. Okay? In every way that he can. In order to do this, he has to continue working on the curia that he's got working over there for him. Slowly but surely he's making changes in that to bring that sense of mercy and compassion into the whole church. Recently, he certainly has shown that mercy and compassion on one of the major questions that we have here in American Catholics. That has to do with, Catholics who are divorced and remarried and receiving the sacraments. You're all familiar with that?
Yes.
Is anybody not familiar with what he says? Okay. He's been shown a real door of mercy and compassion in that regard. And I've asked him to continue doing this. And I'd also say, Your Holiness, it really is time, in fact it's past time, to open up the priesthood to more than celibate men. Because there's not enough celibate men around who want to be priests. In the course of my priesthood, which is now about 60 years, I've dealt with any number of young men who were real leaders, and who had all the gifts you would ever hope for in a good priest, a good pastor. And they actually came to me, this one at a time over a period of years, told me they wanted to be a priest, but they also wanted to be married and have a family. And so they went the direction of marriage and the family, which is wonderful. But why in the world can't those people be priests? You know, why can't they be priests? We have a minimum of 6 that I know of married priests in our parish here. You may not know that. Every mass I have, I'm talking to some married priests who would be more than happy to come back and get back into service if they could. They're already trained. Everything. But you see, this needs to be opened up. So my advice to the Lord would be, start right there. Just say, okay, you guys who left, you got married, so we'll allow you to come back and be ministering priests again. Or we're going to allow men who are married to become priests. I don't know what the other answer is. And even women, see, that's the subject we're not supposed to talk about. We have to talk about at least half the church is women. And women bring insights and so forth that men don't even have. That's why they wrote books, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. You don't want all Mars. You want a little Venus mixed in there too. And so that would probably be the last thing that happens. But Your Holiness, please open up the whole idea of priesthood to many, many more people. That would be my main point of advice. What else is on your mind? Anything at all? Yes, I'm here.
I wonder if you guys talk about the reading and how it sort of shows a lack of mercy in a way. How we can understand that.
Oh, this last reading?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the gospel? It sounds like a tough gospel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know what the point of the gospel is that don't be looking for miracles to convince you of the truth. Please, Father Abraham, send Lazarus back to my 5 brothers to warn them so that they won't end up in this place too. No, Abraham said. If they don't believe Moses and the prophets is the Old Testament, God's Word. If they don't believe Moses and the prophets, not even if somebody comes back from the dead, will they be convinced? And we have God's Word, but we don't use it really as like the last resort. We're always looking for something more. Show me something more exciting than the Bible. Do something different. Find a statue that cries, or any kind of little miracle you can find to bring me to more faith. That doesn't bring us to faith. The gospel is saying is we've got everything we want, everything we need with the Word of God. And that's why, hopefully, we get our homilies. We're simply trying to keep repeating the Word of God to you. The other part of the gospel, though, may sound really scary, is like, are they saying that rich people are condemned and poor people are saved? Is that the point that bothers you? Yeah, that's not the case. Jesus has already said, anybody can be saved. He's already said that. In fact, he's already said, God wills the salvation of everyone. Jesus also said, at different points in the gospel, that it can be more difficult for a wealthy person than for a poor person. And that's sort of a common sense, too, if you think about it. The more we have, the more attached we are to it, the harder it is to let go of it. And so there's nothing wrong with money, but it's what do we do with it? Are we using our money, or is money in control of us? Is it more difficult? Yes, Jesus says it's more difficult for a wealthy person who has everything that they want than it is for a poor person. But I think that's because we get attached to our possessions and we spend too much time and energy on those things rather than on things of the Spirit. But it doesn't mean that rich people can't get to heaven. That was a question the apostles asked him after he gave another little parable about wealth and money and riches. And they said, well, then who can be saved? He says, anything is possible with God. Don't decide who can and cannot be saved. God can save everyone. But don't ask me how. I don't know how. I believe that God does. I would just say, money is it's something that's given to us that places some kind of responsibility on us too. You know, I don't have $1 million, but if I did, I'd worry about it. Because I have to use this in some way. I can't just go buy a Mercedes or something. I don't want a Mercedes. But what would I do with it? Because there is power in that, power for good. And am I using my money in that regard? Does that help at all? What else comes to your mind? Over here, yes.
Father, the ecumenical movement is trying to get all Christian religions to be united again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my understanding that people are still not welcomed, other Christians, to communion in the Catholic Church. And yet if you go to a Protestant church, you are usually welcome. And that just feels like more division, but I may not know the latest understanding.
You know, that's another thing I can advise the Pope on. That's a very good point. We are ecumenical, meaning we are always looking for, a union of all Christian churches. We all have, our faith is so common, we believe so much of the same, yet there are some differences. And when Jesus said there'd be one shepherd and one flock, I don't think he meant there'd be one religious denomination, but there'd be one group of Christianity would be one. So I can go to a Presbyterian church or an Episcopal church to receive communion. If a Presbyterian or Episcopalian comes here and they come up to me for communion, do you think I'll give it to them? Yes, I will. Of course I will. I mean, in fact, the church says don't refuse anyone who comes. At the same time, geez, I heard this down in our cathedral. I probably shouldn't say this. They announced before a particular mass, they announced, if you are not Catholic, do not approach to receive communion. And I just didn't want to hear that. I was sorry to do that. Because at the same time, the church says that a baptized person who is baptized, who is at our church, at our mass for a particular reason, could be a wedding, a funeral, or they're just there with a friend or something, and they're there and they happen to receive communion, that's okay. The theologians, the people who are doing thinking now, the theologians of the Catholic Church, the Lutheran Church, those two at least, and Episcopal Church also, the three of them, for years have come to the conclusion that they recognize the validity of the sacraments in each other's church. But the leadership of the churches still haven't done anything about it. So that's where it stands. So Pope Francis has something else to think about. Pope's going to love us. Huh? So where's that parish of St. Francis? You all doing well? That's great. Any other questions? Yes.
When you read the Eucharistic prayer, you change a word. When it says we may merit to be co-heirs of eternal life, you only say we come to be co-heirs of
Yes.
eternal life. So why do you change that?
I changed that word because I think it's a heresy that our Eucharistic prayer is heretical in that regard. We never merit heaven. There's no possible way we could ever merit heaven, merit God's love in any way at all. I don't care how good we are, doesn't make any difference. We could never merit heaven. We could never merit eternal life in heaven. We could never merit God's love. And yet, for whatever reason, when they made the change in the language, a couple of years ago in the Mass, that word merit keeps coming over and over and over again. Every time I see it, if I catch it in time, I will not say it. I will say we will come to be co-heirs. But it's not because we merit. That's why it changes. Is that wrong? I don't think so. I think I'm speaking the truth. You may not agree with me on that. But anyway, that's why I do it. I'll tell you, there's another spot there too. I shouldn't point these out to you. Shouldn't point them out to you, but I find it difficult at the consecration. You would say, this is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant, which will be poured out for many, for the forgiveness of sins. I have to say, for all. Not for many, but for all. Because I believe when Jesus died on the cross, it was to save everything. So I made a little change there too. Don't report me on this. But I mean, to me, that's just common sense. I don't know. Okay, back there.
Is there any commandment that if it were disobeyed, would not allow us?
Any commandment? If there's any commandment that...
That if we would disobey a commandment, a certain commandment that God has not forgiven us.
Oh, yeah, no, that's like there's one place in Scripture that talks about the unforgivable sin. Well, of course, the only unforgivable sin, I guess, would be for a person to die completely out of love of God and hating God. I can think of, that's the only mortal sin we can commit. I know the old catechisms have pages of mortal sins. You take your choice. You know, there are all these different choices. They're not mortal. Mortal is deadly. The only deadly sin I think of is to die completely out of love. With no love would be mortal, very deadly. There's no commandment. There's no sin that God will not forgive. There is absolutely nothing we can do. We can read the newspapers and see the abominable things, or watch the evening news, see the abominable things that people do to people. And in all truth, we can also in humility say, thank you, Lord, because we're capable of doing that ourselves, and we're not doing it. But God's forgiveness is bigger than anything we could ever imagine doing. The forgiveness is always, no question of that whatsoever. And I'm running out of time. I'd like to spend a lot of time on this with some time about what true forgiveness is really about. And when we say God is forgiving us, what that means. Do you realize that by your presence here and participation in Mass right now, that this is an act of forgiveness? I didn't think of it, but it is. We've already confessed our sins and asked for God's forgiveness, which He's given us. Anyway, that's all we can do today. And, excuse me. I'll leave you with one thought. I've always talked to you about God's will is always the best thing for us. Well, I was not skateboarding. I fell in the garage and caught my arm on the rear view mirror as I went down. Sort of tore it up. And immediately my first prayer was, God, give me a break. Immediately I thought, no, God, don't give me a break. And it was the second prayer that was heard. Isn't that great?
Yeah.